Hello, 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 hello. Good evening. Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Ignite Show. It is Thursday. I am live at 5-ish. Never seem to quite make it to 5 o'clock on the dot because I always forget I've got to get my little bot thing all organized and send that out so that people know that I'm live, so they get a little notification to let them know that I'm live. So that hopefully somebody comes and joins me and that I'm not talking into the ether to nobody, because that isn't any fun when nobody's here joining you live. But I usually get a couple of people joining, so we'll see. We will see what happens today. So if you do happen to join, I see a little notification has just gone out on Facebook. So if you do happen to join, then you can drop me a little comment, let me know where you are, who you are, what you're up to, how your day is going, what you've got planned, what's going on in your world. Let me know. And so today I am talking about what do you do when you've got to do a presentation, or you've got to speak, or you've got to talk, and you've planned in some prep time, and something, a curveball comes at you out of nowhere, and your prep time just vanishes. It just, it just disappears, just disappears into thin air. So what do you do? What do you do when that happens? And the reason, there's always a tale in here about my life in some way when I do the Ignite show. So the reason I'm talking about that today is because I always try to make these things relevant and interesting and give you a little bit of a story behind it and some insight into what goes on in my world. And so here's the thing. So today, it's a gale tale. It's my new thing, a gale tale. I think I might actually. So on the evenings in my challenge, we call it Gail's Evening Tonic. But I'm thinking maybe it should be Gail's Tales, because I end up just telling stories. But anyway, my story for today is, so today I had an appointment this morning, so I had to get up really early. So I had to, because my alarm always goes off at 6 o'clock, but I very rarely actually get out of my bed at 6 o'clock. I like to have a little bit of a, I don't know, it feels like you're having a little bit of a long lie when you don't actually get up at 6 o'clock. But I had to get up at 6 o'clock this morning because I needed to be somewhere by a certain time. And so I did that. So I was up early this morning, so I was quite tired. And I was out all morning at the thing I was doing. And I got home back here at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I knew I was speaking in a group today at 3 o'clock. So I had been scheduled in for ages. It's not like I didn't have time to think about this. I had been scheduled to speak in a group for some time. So I think I was booked in to speak in a group at least 2 weeks ago, maybe more than that. Might have been more than that. I'm not actually sure. And so I knew I had to do that, but I thought, well, I knew what I was talking about. It's something that I've talked about before, but I usually do it as a big presentation, and this was just a half-hour slot. But I knew roughly what I was going to be covering, but I hadn't really I like to be prepared, and I like to have sat down and thought, right, this is exactly what I'm going to cover. This is what I'm going to say. These are my sort of talking points. These are the stories I'm going to tell. I like to have that kind of clear in my mind. So I got home at 1 o'clock and I hadn't had anything to eat, so I had some lunch. And then I got into, there was stuff going on because my challenge starts tomorrow, it doesn't actually start tomorrow, but I'm opening the doors to my challenge tomorrow, in case you haven't heard about it. Can't believe you wouldn't have heard about it because I've been going on about it for weeks now. But I open the doors tomorrow, and I'm working with someone new who is helping me on the tech side. And so we've been kind of getting things ready. And so on the Friday afternoon, when I open the group on the Friday afternoon, an email goes out to everybody that's registered to let them know the group is now open, come on in, we're getting to know each other, that kind of thing. Read the rules and all of that. And that's all fine. And that's what always happens on day one of the challenge. And then we get started officially on the Monday. So as I was having my lunch, I was looking at my phone at the same time as having my lunch, which, is maybe not a good thing to do, but that's what I was doing anyway. And so just catching up on some stuff that had come in. And I noticed in my inbox, there was an email from me to me, because I'm on all of my email lists. I'm on all of them so that I know, so I can see what's going out and when. And so there was an email in my inbox saying, the group is now open. And I was like, no, it's not. I was like, no, it's not. And it's not going to be open for another 24 hours, at least. So because I'll probably be opening the group about 3:00 tomorrow afternoon. And it's like, that's a bit strange. Wonder what is going on. So I messaged my tech girl and I was like, so there's an email saying that the group is open. Is that a test? Like, I was like, and I was kind of mildly panicking at this point, hoping that it hadn't gone out to everybody that had registered. 170 people have registered at this point, and I had visions of this email having gone out to 170 people and them all thinking, right, that's group open, because I'm not actually, I could have opened the group earlier, but I'm kind of not ready for that. So anyway, it turned out it had gone out, but erroneously, by mistake, not to everybody that's registered, but it had gone out to about 100 people. And I was like, oh no. And so then, I was in a bit of a panic about that. And so then going back and forward, what to do, what's the right thing to do. So anyway, so we drafted an apology email, sent that out, said, you've got some emails by mistake, group's not actually open, it opens tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. So I was dealing with all of that and a couple of other things that had come up since, because I had been out all morning and I was in a meeting and I couldn't really check what was going on. So by the time I sorted all of that out and a couple of other things that had popped in that were urgent, it was by this time, right? Because I was starving. I had to eat my lunch. So I'd ate my lunch, then came back to my desk, dealt with all that stuff. By the time I was like, right, I need to go and do this talk, and I need to go and get ready to do this talk, it was 10 to 3, and I was like, oh my God. It's 10 to 3. I am live at 3:00 and I haven't even thought about what I'm going to say. And if I was going into my own group or if I was doing this, I would be like, do you know what? It's fine, because I'll just go on and chat and I'll think of something to say. But this was going live in someone else's group. They had asked me to come in and speak about how to lead with impact. And I thought, I can't just pitch up, Having said that, it's Gillian's group, and Gillian, for those of you that don't know, Gillian is my community ambassador as well, but she's got her own group for people that do guest expert slots. And I was speaking in her group, and I thought, well, if the worst comes to the worst, I could probably just pop in and just ramble on, and it would probably be fine. But I thought, I better not do that. But for someone like me who does like to be organised and prepared, to suddenly be thinking, right, I'm live in 10 minutes. What am I talking about again? So the thing is, I did the talk, right? So I found the stuff I was supposed to be talking about. I collected my thoughts. I was like, right, there are 5 things that I need to say. These are the 5 things that I need to share. I know what I'm going to say to introduce myself. I'll do a little bit of a ramble around that. I'll make sure that I share my 5 things. I'll make sure that I speak about the challenge, because I was promoting my challenge, and that was the whole point of me doing the talk as well. And it's only 30 minutes and it'll be fine. And it was absolutely fine. But the thing about it is, that's something that can happen. That's something that when you're in a leadership position in particular, you can suddenly be called on at a moment's notice to just speak about something, either to, pitch up and do something, or, you might be attending something and get asked to speak, or you might get asked for your opinion on something, or, these things can crop up. And if you're like me and you like to be prepared and organised and have, planned out exactly what you're going to say, those sorts of things can knock us a little bit, or, ruffle us a little bit, and can put us into panic mode, because, we're suddenly like, all right, okay. And for some people, that's a good thing, because they don't have any time to think about it, and they just have to go and do it. For other people, they don't have time to think about it. They just got to go and do it. And it can be a little bit like a rabbit in front of the headlights. And I guess for me, it is a little bit easier, because I'm talking about things that I talk about a lot. So I'm never really talking about something that I don't know anything about. So I guess the lesson in that is, make sure you know your stuff. Like, don't be talking about stuff that you don't know anything about, Because if you know your topic, you'll always find something to say. Like if you know your topic, you'll always find something to say. And I guess it comes with practice as well, because I speak in groups reasonably frequently. I go live in my own group all the time. I do these live shows every week. So I do these live shows twice a week. So I'm used to going live. I'm used to speaking. I'm used to just coming up with something to say. And what I would say is, things like that get easier with practice. So a couple of things here. So it's interesting because, I guess even actually not that long ago, maybe even a year ago, or maybe 18 months ago, if I was going to be speaking in someone's group and I only had 10 minutes to prepare, I would be really nervous. I would be, oh my goodness, I can't just only have, 10 minutes to prepare. This is going to be a disaster. And I probably would have panicked a little bit. But I think because I've been doing this for a long time now and I've got experience around it, I know I can do it. And I know I can pitch up and just talk. And I can usually think of something reasonably, well, hopefully, can usually come up with something meaningful to say. But the lessons in that, it's easy for me to do that because I've had lots of experience in doing it. But if you've not, and that kind of thing does send you into a little bit of a panic whirl, then what can you do about that? What can you do? What should you do? What are some ways to prevent the panic setting in and to just deal with that calmly? And so the few things that I would say on that are, first of all, remember that you know what you know more than anybody else, right? So if you've got a topic that you're speaking about and you're going to be speaking about it, or there's a chance that you might be asked to speak about it, first of all, remember that you know more than most people about your topic, and you actually probably know more than you realize as well. So you do know more than most people, and you know more than you think. Because often we think that we don't have enough information to share, or we don't have a valid opinion, or we don't have something value to contribute. When in actual fact, we do, right? We do have something valuable to contribute. But because it's our value and our strengths and our knowledge, sometimes we're dismissive about it and we trivialize what we know and what our strengths are and how we contribute, right? And how we can share our knowledge and have an impact on people. So remember that you know more than you think. Nobody knows what you know, really, because you're the only person inside your own head. Then, take a breath, right? Because when I was like, oh my God, I've only got 10 minutes. I'm going live in 10 minutes. And I haven't actually thought about what I'm going to say. But I guess at the back of my mind, all the way through that, I did know what I was going to say, because I've done it before. I've not done it in the way that I did it today before, but I have done it before. And so, I know my topic, and I know what my 5 points are, and I know even just by having, so this was so in the 10 minutes that I had right before I was going live, like, I don't know how well you can see that, but that was what I did. This is what I wrote down. And that was really just to help me get my head clear, and so that I could remember what are the things that I'm going to say. So I had my 5 points. I knew what my 5 things were. So my 5 things are vision, and then I know what to say about vision. My second thing was balance. I know what to say about balance. Strengths was my third thing. Again, I've got talk tracks around strengths that I use a lot. Resilience, I teach resilience. It's in my program, so I kind of know what to say about that. And then my 5th thing is taking action, and I'm always talking about taking action. So really, those were my 5 things. That was my talk. I only had 30 minutes. By the time I introduced myself, talked about that, talked about Gillian, our friendship, being grateful for being brought into the group, went through my 5 things, talked about my challenge, and I always give I try, whenever I'm doing a talk, I try to give a little inspiring quote at the end, so you leave people uplifted. And I've got quite a few of them that I use regularly. So I had one of them as well. So I just put in one of my standard quotes that I tend to use. So I knew that's how I was going to close. And I was like, right, okay, I'm done. And I know what I'm talking about. The one thing actually that I didn't do, which is important when you're speaking, and I actually forgot about this. So when I was doing my prep, I kind of just did my, here are the 5 things that I need to cover and wanting to say about them. I need to make sure I get my challenge in, and I want to leave them with an inspiring quote. But one of the things that I didn't do, which is important, and I would normally do this, is remember to talk about, well, why is what I'm talking about important anyway? Why should you care? Why is this important to you? And so my talk was all about how to lead with impact. So one of the things I should have put in right from the start is, why should you even care about this? Like, why should you listen to me for the next 30 minutes? Why is this important for you? And I didn't do that. And for someone that teaches presentation skills, that's not good. But that wasn't the point of what I was saying today. Like, what I was trying to say today is that for those of you out there that like to be hyper prepared, like me, and I'm not one that refers to notes really when I'm speaking. I like to be off the page. I do like to have some sort of a prompt, but usually it's slides. If I'm speaking off the cuff, I don't like to be reading off the page because I think it stilts your conversation or stilts your flow. But the point is, like, for those of you that like to be hyper prepared, it's important to remember that you do know more than you think. And if you just, stop and think for a second, just stop and gather yourself, right? Just take a moment to just gather your thoughts and get into your zone and so that you're ready, so that you've got a rough idea of what you're going to say. Just remember and have faith in the fact that you know your stuff. Like you know your topic. Assuming that you do know your topic, like you need to know your topic. But assuming that you know your topic, you will be fine. You will be fine. So it's just a case of take that step back, remember that you know more than you think, take a breath. And the other thing is, just be yourself and just relax. I mean, I was completely honest when, that was how I opened. I talked about, oh my gosh, this is what's just happened to me. And, and the thing about that is, people like to get to know you as a person as well. And so I was being very honest and very authentic about, so here's what's just happened. Here's how my day has looked up until 10 minutes ago, right? And here I am, so, and that was raw, live, uncut, me showing up as me, I couldn't have been any more transparent and honest. And I think that people appreciate that. So those are my little tips for today. So remember, you know more than you think. When you know your topic, you know more than you think. Remember that. So you do know more than you think, and remember that you know more than you think, right? That's important. Take a moment, gather your thoughts, just have, just maybe, think about, why am I here? Why should they care about what I'm about to say? Always answer that. Why should they care about this? Why is this important to them? And make sure you get that in somewhere. And then just think, what's my strong start? What do I really want to tell them in the middle, and how do I want to close? So I leave them on a high. What's the impact I want to have on them as I finish? Because you want a strong start and a strong end, and then you want detail in the middle. But you want them to kind of, you've only got a few seconds right in the beginning to kind of draw them in. And so, how are you going to draw them in? Then what do you need to tell them, and why is it important? And then make sure you've got something, you want to end on a bang, end on a high. How are you going to close? How are you going to close big? Right? How are you going to do that? And, if you speak regularly, you get used to doing this, but it's good to have, a few things up your sleeve that, I've got a quote that I tend to use, or this is the opener that I tend to use, or, and then, then you practice doing that, and it becomes almost, because you've done it so many times, you just get into that mode, and it happens more naturally and more easily. And it does take a little bit of practice. And I'm not suggesting that if you're new to speaking that you should be okay with only having 10 minutes to prep. I'm okay with only having 10 minutes to prep. But that's come with a lot of practice at doing it, because I speak live all the time. But those are my little tips. So that is it for today. That is the Ignite show. And my challenge does open tomorrow. So the doors for the challenge do open tomorrow. And if you would like to learn more about how to lead with impact, I would love you I'd love you to come in and join us. We will be getting to know each other over the weekend. So currently, let me just tell you what the current numbers are live. What's the state of the nation? Let's see. So we have 173 people registered so far. 173. I think we'll have about 200 people by Monday. And I'm opening the doors tomorrow, so everybody's going to get into my private group tomorrow. We will be getting to know each other over the weekend. I will be live in the group on Sunday night, setting everyone up for success. We get started with the first task on Monday morning, which goes out at 6 a.m. in the morning on Monday morning, and then the group. Then registration closes. So registration closes on Monday at lunchtime. So you need to be registered by Monday at lunchtime if you want to take part. And then we go for 5 days. So there's a task every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. You get to ask me anything you want. There's a Q&A post every day, and I go live in the evenings to answer all your questions, to give you some support, some encouragement, some tough love if you need it. And I am there all week reviewing, responding and answering to all the posts that get put into the group. So for every task, I ask everybody to come back to the task in the group, share how they're getting on, what's happening, what they're noticing, what's coming up for them. And I read every single comment, try and respond to every single comment as well, to make sure that everybody is getting what they need, and so that they leave the challenge with more than they started with, in a good way. In a good way. They don't pick up anything that they don't want, but they leave the challenge more confident, more energized. I'm not sure just more ready. It doesn't really sound very good, does it? But set up for success. That's the thing. They leave the challenge set up for success, raring to go, and to go off, riding into the sunset, empowered and ready to grab the opportunities that are going to be coming available to them after the challenge. So that's what happens. So the challenge finishes on Friday, and then you have the weekend to finish off and catch up. And then I actually run a masterclass on the Monday after the challenge as well. So I'll be sharing more about that next week. So if a 5-day challenge doesn't float your boat, but you do want some insights and you want to learn, then you can join me for the masterclass on Monday next week at 7 o'clock. And I'll be sharing more about that next week. So I'd love you to come and join me. It's all about how to lead with impact, influence, and balance. And it's for people who want to lead with more impact, obviously, but who are also struggling with self-doubt and overwhelm, and who want some help and support with that, who want to lead with more confidence. Now, I will be covering things like creating a vision. I'll be covering things like what I've just talked about in the guest expert slot that I did for Gillian. So thinking about your vision, thinking about values, thinking about what's important to you, thinking about balance, thinking about stepping into your strengths, overcoming your saboteur. That's what we do on Wednesdays. Self-limiting behavior, self-sabotage. We tackle all of that. And then we get into action, right? So we get into action at the end of the week. And that's what we do. That is the challenge in a nutshell. So it's going to be great. I can't wait to do it. I love the challenge. I love challenge week. I'm loving that we've got 170 people so far, 173. But we are not done yet. So if you would like to come and join us, come and join us. The link is in this post. Or if you know someone who would like to come and join us, then pass it on to them. And I will see you there. I will see you in the challenge, and I will look forward to it. See you soon. Take care. Bye.